Geoscientists today play a vital role in advancing sustainable development globally. Their expertise is critical in understanding the Earth's processes, identifying mineral resources, and managing natural hazards. They, however, face many challenges in Africa, such as limited access to funding, training, and technology. A new survey aims to assess the needs and priorities of African geoscientists to better understand and address these challenges. In Nigeria, developing the minerals and mining sector by raising investor confidence in the industry with the provision of modern geodata infrastructure has been a key milestone. The federal government on the 27th of April commissioned the National Geodata Center, NGC, at the headquarters of the Nigerian Geological Survey, NGSA, in Abuja, where the facility is domiciled, with the newly appointed Minister of Solid Minerals, Dr. Dele Alake, stating the federal government's commitment to reviving the nation's economy through its vast mineral resources. Experts have their understanding of what the industry truly needs. We're joined this morning by the President, Nigeria Association for Engineering, Geology and the Environment, Dr. Waliu Olukayode Adeolu. Good morning and welcome to Breakfast Central. All right, let's talk about what Nigeria, when it comes to conversations about geoscientists, let's talk about Nigeria and the role that we play. Is it a conversation that is mainstream, and how exactly can we invest in building the sector?
Okay, thank you very much for this question and for having me this morning. There are several ways you can invest in the education and training sector of geoscientists to build a skilled workforce that are capable of addressing the challenges of this mining sector. Well, first thing we have to do is to invest heavily in the university training and also encourage this town and gown collaboration. That's the collaboration between the universities and the industry. Most of the trainings we have in the universities are very good, but then they have to complement it by practical skills of the industry. And in recent time, this has been done. Most of the geoscientists have had the opportunity to have this what we call internship trainings with the industry, and it has been yielding very fruitful results in the last few years. Most of the geoscientists out there now are complete, and you can say that the future of geoscientists in the country is very well guaranteed. And of course, it's just a matter of years. What you'll be having is going to be geoscientists that watch their onions. Okay, thank you.
Well, I believe that it's still a while away, from achieving that, but if we maybe are serious enough with that, we would, of course, take more steps closer to it. But I want to talk about, something that is not a very common conversation here, which is natural disasters, and how geoscientists, what role they play. Do we see that if we invest more in knowledge in that regard, we'll be able to maybe get early warning signs for some level of natural disasters that happen here in Nigeria and in other parts of the continent?
Well, I believe that is the right thing, and I must say, yeah, most of the part of Africa we do a lot in, just praying away most of the catastrophes that may happen. But as geoscientists, we give an early warning when there are a lot of, okay, for example, there is this equipment that can monitor even the slightest of the earth tremors thousands of kilometers away from Nigeria. It is situated in Obafemi University. There's another one in Toro in the northern part of Nigeria. These two facilities are able to give us forewarning before this natural disaster even happen. And of course, in the whole of Africa, there are what we call structural movements of this of the earth, and these movements are monitored by continuous, continuous. They are monitored all around Africa, and I believe if we have an investment seriously in the equipment to monitor this, we have the capabilities to predict well ahead the possible warning that could help us in preparing for these natural disasters all over Africa and, of course, in Nigeria too.
It's very comforting to hear that we actually do have equipment that can, foresee the likelihood of an earthquake happening. And yes, absolutely, we do think that more investments should be made because we've always wondered what it would be like if it ever happened to us here in Nigeria. It would not be a pretty sight. It's not something that we often have to worry about. But some of the other things we have to worry about are certain natural disasters. What we will consider, some might not consider a natural disaster, but flooding is. Sometime last year, about a third of Bayelsa, it would seem, was submerged, due to the flood. Every other day, we're hearing about when a dam is opened in a neighboring country. We're feeling the effects here in Nigeria. So talk to us about, some of the major natural disasters we have to face as a nation and what your association is doing about it.
Okay, thank you very much for that question again. The recent flooding is something that we are not happy about, and this is multifaceted, like I've always said in so many other fora. It is important that the government does what their part, and also the citizenry. The major part that the government has to do is there are some floodplains that are natural for floods to go through, but when these floodplains are already silted up. By silted up, I mean they are already covered by sand. The volume of water that they're supposed to take in and discharge into the ocean are not allowed again. And as such, there should be constant dredging of our floodplains. There should be constant, or we should also look at the possibility of using what our dams, because one of the major issues is not just the rainfall. When the rainfall reaches a particular height, then the dams become threatened and they will need to release the dams. And when they release the dam downslope, then it goes into when the floodplains are not having the right volume to carry the water, then there is a problem. So what we do here, or what the association has been doing, is to engage the government, the Minister of Environment, such that the floodplains are continuously dredged. We can also use those water systems for irrigation activities in the north. There is a lot of places that have these water challenges, and instead of just releasing them when we have an extended height of the dams, we can use this for irrigational purposes. We can, of course, use it for on power generation. We can, try to, as against being reactive, we can be more proactive and using it for productive national businesses. And this is what the association has been doing. In recent time, the association, in conjunction with Nigerian Building, Roads and Research Institutes in Abuja, we conducted the impact of this flooding on the roads, and to see how badly the roads have been affected. You will be perturbed by the level of destruction that this floods. Even if how much the much amount of money that is invested into this infrastructural development, you cannot just afford to lose them at every year when you have flooding. So we can be proactive, prepare for the floodplains, make sure that the floodplains have quite enough volume to be able to take the volume of water coming into the ocean. I think we've also been seeking to, have audience with the new Minister for Environment, such that we can give them all of this information that can help, reduce the impact of this flooding. Of course, flooding cannot be totally abated, but we can give future warnings. We can try to reduce the impact as much as possible by being proactive. And there are a lot of data that the association has that we can share with the government, and that we've been doing, and we hope to continue to do. And if the government listens and implements, we can be rest assured that the impact of flooding challenges is going to be a thing of the past.
Yeah, well, the big thing is if the government listens, because it's not lack of ideas, it's really just implementation that seems to be the big problem. But let's move away from natural disasters and all that. I want to talk about Nigeria's actual mineral resources and solid mineral resources in particular. The Minister of Solid Minerals, Dele Alake, has made mention that Nigeria's solid mineral sector is worth about $700 billion. The Senate, I think in August, I believe, said that Nigeria can make about $3 to $4 billion every year from just solid minerals. So I want you to talk a little bit about, those parts of our economy that are completely untapped. The only thing that a lot of Nigerians know about solid minerals is that there's crisis in Zamfara and it's because of gold. And these are only just, rumors to a large extent. So how much are we missing out on as a nation, that we maybe could tap into across the country? And I'm talking solid minerals. You can even go all the way to the east, where there, used to be coal in Enugu State for a while. That, of course, has been forgotten.
Okay, well, again, yeah, we must take this part. We have over 43 solid minerals in the country. This can do a lot of good to our foreign direct investments. It can help build the economy seriously. But, this sector have not been regulated in the past. It has not been given much attention to. Most of the attention have been shifted away towards the oil sector, which is just one of so many that God has blessed Nigeria with. But of course, sometimes somebody says, when you're so blessed with so many resources, then you become like a daisical, you don't make efforts to grow. But right now, the crisis in the forex sector would, of course, let us know that we need to diversify. The last government mentioned that, but there were not so much intention to achieve that, not much implementation to achieve that role. However, I must recognize one fact, that this sector requires a lot of knowledge base, and that knowledge is only provided by the Nigerian Geological Survey Agency, headed by the capable hands of Dr. Garba. He's been doing so much, and there has been a lot of data gathering as regards to mineral investments. There have been the narrative should just shift away from oil. There is a lot we can gain from here. In recent time, you've been hearing of Elon Musk trying to, get into this lithium battery, lithium use. We have quite an abundant volume of lithium in Nigeria, and yet we are not regulating this industry. You must also understand that instead of us looking at everybody as you mentioned Zamfara the other time, crisis in Zamfara, you must understand really that there is a way, instead of fighting this what we call illegal miners. They are not illegal miners. We call them in their session labels artisanal miners. We can bring them together, bring them into kind of cooperative, regulate them so that the artisanal mining activities can be regulated and it can be made use and be put to use by the country. And I can tell you very well that the quite a number of data that we have right now is worthy, because one thing is investors must also appreciate the fact that they need data, and we are getting that data from investors. And in recent times, the recent visit by Adeolu, I think, to some part of Europe has encouraged and has given confidence that investments could come into this sector. And I believe, of course, this over 43 economic minerals that we have should be able to change the fortune of the country, of course, when the intent is clear and implementation is perfect.
Olukayode, thank you so much for your time. We look forward to seeing all the many amazing opportunities that this sector provides for Nigerians, and how the government can, sort of work hand in hand with your association as well as others who are stakeholders to ensure that we make the best of this for our country.
Thank you very much.